Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel. Big up everyone that's in the chat now. What can I say? I was on Jamie's channel last night, quite late, and obviously the Zubamendi rejection was announced. I kind of understand why everyone's fuming. Obviously, we missed out on a player that we were trying to sign. Such is life. Like, that's how it works, doesn't it? Like, you try and get the player, and sometimes they don't come to you. So we just move on. What I wanted to do today is I wanted to basically have a look at the team. I also wanted to have a look at the team lineup and the players that we've got, and the players that will play, and the players that will be backup. And I just want to kind of show a little bit of realization on an actual tactics board of how many players we've actually got at Liverpool and how good a squad Slot actually has already at his disposal. And then obviously we can look at some of the news. Obviously, it's come out from David Ornstein and Paul Joyce that we might not look at a number 6 now. If we don't, then we don't. There's no point getting mad about it. Liverpool aren't signing players for you. Like, Liverpool aren't signing players for me. Like, I want Mohamed Kudus. I want Rodrigo. Like, I wanted a number of other players, but they're not signing players for me. They're signing players for Slot. They're signing players because the club need them. Like, we're not in charge. So, they're not just going to go and sign a number 6 because you want one. And they probably wanted Zubamendi because Zubamendi offered something which was quite unique, which isn't all about being a destroyer and isn't all about being an out-and-out number 6. Zubamendi offered something slightly different, which obviously Slot wanted. Just a little bit of realization about Zubamendi, by the way, just before, I understand people want him. I understand, like, we had this crazy obsession with him. We have this crazy obsession as soon as David Ornstein says that we're linked with someone. We did it with Lenny Yoro. Nobody knew who Lenny Yoro was. Nobody had a clue who he was and actually watched the guy play football until David Ornstein said that we were looking at him. And let's be honest about Zubamendi. Like, as much as he's a great player, have you watched him? Have you actually watched him play for Real Sociedad on a daily basis? Does anyone watch Real Sociedad? Because I don't. I've never watched Real Sociedad play football. Like, even when they were in the Champions League, I didn't watch them play. And can we all just kind of realize that if Rodri didn't get injured in the Euros, we'd have not seen Zubamendi because he wouldn't have come off. Rodri would have stayed on. So Zubamendi wouldn't have came on the pitch. And Zubamendi was only a substitute in all of the Euro games. Like, if anyone really stood out and you really wanted, it should have been Danny Olmo that everyone was raving about because the guy was the top goal scorer in the Euros and he completely controlled games. So he's the guy that everyone should have wanted. But we all went crazy for Zubamendi. Like, I get it. Like, I wasn't crazy for him. Okay, like, you can clip it back as far as you want. Like, I wasn't crazy for him. Like, he finished 8th. Like, they finished 8th in the league. Like, they barely made the conference. Like, is he really going to move the needle that much? Is he really going to move the needle that much? And from what I've read about him already now, because there's a lot of stuff that's come out about Zubamendi, the guy's a bit weird. The guy doesn't care about trophies. He doesn't care about ambition. Like, he's more than happy to just sit at his club, finishing, maybe in a position where he can play in a cup competition. Like, he doesn't care. Like, he just wants to be in his hometown, near his family. So, in all honesty, we might well have dodged a bullet because he might well be a guy that might leave in 6 months' time and go back to his country because he can't handle the rigors, he can't handle the pressure, he can't handle being at a big club. Like, because he's more than happy to just sit at his club for the rest of his life. It's a weird one. It's weird having players like that. But he feels like a Matt Letizia. Do you remember Matt Letizia? Everybody wanted Matt Letizia, but he didn't care. He wanted to stay at Southampton. He just wasn't bothered. Feels like a bit of a Matt Letizia, maybe. But it is what it is. Like, we move on. I wasn't, look, clip it, look at my previous shows. I wasn't on the Zubamendi train. I never was. I wanted Varela. Talked about Varela for a long time. Like, Varela for me is the guy that we need. Like, if it's not Bruno Guimaraes, which we're just not going to get, unfortunately, then it's Varela. And if it's not Varela, then it's Edison for me. Like, there's not a huge amount there, but those players kind of really stick out. And they're the ones that I think are better because I think we need more pace and I think we need more strength in midfield. And Zubamendi wasn't a fast player. And I get he won a lot of headers. Like, I get that. He won a lot of headers. And that's fair. But is anyone going to be playing loads of long balls up into our midfield? I don't know. But Varela's the one that moves the needle for me. He's got a release clause, by the way, for 60 million. So we could just go and activate that. Edison, for me, really moves the needle as well because of his sheer tenacity and the fact that he's all action, he's all over the park. Those two move the needle for me. Zubamendi felt a little bit like a luxury player. I mean, I said this on Jamie's show last night. Feels like a little bit of a luxury player, and maybe that's why Arsenal were looking at him, which is it, he turned us down. 2 weeks he said yes, and yesterday he said no. Like if you want to kick off on anyone and you really want to point the blame game, I think you should blame his agent because his agent was trying to force him into a move. And we can all sit there and say Richard Hughes is a bit of an idiot for wasting time, but it looks like Richard Hughes trusted his friend, who was his agent, by the way, in case you didn't know, and he's worked with him before. And Hughes listened to his agent, and his agent maybe persuaded the player or maybe coerced the player into really wanting that move when really his heart wasn't there. And then as soon as the club turned around and said, well, you've got to put in a transfer request, like all the fans are going to know that we don't want to sell you. And the player's just gone, well, I don't want to leave. Like, well, I don't want to leave like that. Like, I thought you wanted to sell me. Like, it is what it is. Like, we just move on. Like, the club comes first and Liverpool moves on. And have we got anything right now that we're seeing on the pitch that makes us think that we're not going to play well next season? Because all I see is lots of positives. I just see loads and loads of amazing positives in the team. Everything about Liverpool makes me feel happy. I watch Liverpool and then I go away and I'm like, wow, I love the way we play. I love the way we defend. Like, Salah looks like a new player. Like, Gravenberch looks like a new signing. Like, McAllister's just pairing away. Trent looks brilliant as a right back. You know, Simicast is looking brilliant as a left back. Like, I'm just watching the games and I'm going, this is all good. There's no negatives. It's all good. Everything I'm seeing about us is good. It's great. It's positive. It's fun. And okay, we didn't sign Zubamendi. It's one guy. It's one guy. That one guy wasn't going to win us the league. One guy wasn't going to win us the league. Like, he just wasn't. So for me, I think we need a left back more. And I've said this a while. I think we need a left back more. Robbo gets injured. We're down to basically Simicast, and then we might have to move Joe Gomez out there. Like, for me, we need to get rid of a lot of the it's not dead weight. It's basically players that aren't going to play for Liverpool again. So we need to move some of those players on. And I think that's important, which we are doing. Um, I agree, Neil. Like Nkapie, been talking about this guy a long time. Like Nkapie, look, at the end of the day, okay, maybe we're not going to go for a six, but we haven't said we're not going to go for a left back, or we haven't said we're not going to go for a centre back, and we haven't said we're not going to look at a right winger. We just said we might not look at a six. But that doesn't mean we're not going to look at a six either, by the way. And it also doesn't mean we're not going to look at another midfielder. It just means we might not look at a six. So it means we might just move McAllister into the six, which he's really good at, by the way. Like, we've looked really good with him there, like we did last season. Like, he's not going to play the six like the Klopp six. He's going to play the six like Slot plays the six, which isn't like all action destroyer. We don't play like that. Every midfielder puts the shift in. Every midfielder plays differently now. It also looks like our defenders play more reserved, so they're not literally trying to win the ball on the halfway line and that's it. It looks like there's more solidity at the back. So maybe we might get another midfielder. Like, I don't know. And maybe McAllister switches over, or maybe Gravenberch switches over, and we get another midfielder. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to look at the whole squad, and then I wanted to put our players into a lineup builder, and then see what we've got as a first team, and then see what we've got as subs. And I'm not here to gaslight you. I'm not here to say that everything's amazing. But what I'm here to show you is I don't think it's as bad as we all feel. Like, and from what we've seen on the pitch, we just smashed Seville 4-1. Like, we absolutely battered Seville. Like, let's make no bones about it. They had their full strength squad out. We had our full strength squad out to a certain extent, and we absolutely battered them. Like, we just did. Like, their goalie pulled off 9 saves, and we still scored 4. Like, let's just say it how it was. It was a walk in the park. Like, we'll go away to Ipswich and we'll probably smash Ipswich. Like, it looks like we're going to have a really good season. It looks like players are going to score loads of goals. It looks like we seem to have a understanding, and everybody seems to know where they play and how to play, and we have these certain patterns that keep on appearing in the game, and it's all by design. It's not by chance. I feel like the more and more they understand the system, and the more confidence they get in the system and the patterns of play, we can only get better. Like we have a couple of unbelievable youngsters that we're not really raving about, and I'm really miffed about why we're not, because most teams, seeing how well those youngsters played in pre-season, would probably not buy players in those positions because they should probably play more. And they didn't last season. So I want to kind of cover that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up a screen with the entire squad. So I did this on the last show. I did. And I went through players that, yeah, and I went through players that I felt we were keeping. Yeah, I said this as well, mate. Like, why are we going to tell everyone that we need a number 6 now? Like, and we're basically going to get taken to the cleaners by everyone. It makes sense. Like, look, we missed out on one player. We've only tried to sign one player this season. Like, give Hughes a chance, will you? Like, let him redeem himself. Like, he went for a guy that everyone was basically wetting their pants over. So if that's the first one that he tries, then let's see how he goes with the second. Like, Give the guy a chance. Like everyone's shouting for him to like leave the club. Like he literally bid for one player. Like you didn't even get a chance to bid for him, by the way. Like we had everything done. Everything was agreed. Like the release clause was agreed. Everything was done. All he needed to do was say yes. And he said no. Any player can say yes or no. Like it's down to the player. And the player seems like a bit of a weirdo. He just does. He seems like he's got no ambition. Like he seems happy to just sit at his club and be whatever he wants to be. Like whatever he wants to be. Like whether they finish 10th, whether they finish 8th, he doesn't care. He just wants to be there. He likes being at home. He's a bit of a homebody. Like he's a bit of a Matt Letizia, okay? They're an odd bunch, but they are, okay? And we just tried to get one. He turned down Barcelona, he turned down Bayern Munich, he turned down Arsenal, and he's turned down Liverpool. It is what it is. If you turn down Barcelona, do you think you'll turn down Real Madrid? Probably. You'll probably turn down everyone. You'll probably turn down everyone because he just wants to be at home. And can we just move on now? Because it's done. He said no, and that's it. Like we didn't bid for Lenny Yoro, so Hughes didn't fuck that one up. Like, and he hasn't really messed this one up. Like he had it in the bag. Like he had it confirmed with his agent and the player 2 weeks ago. Like he was just waiting for Real Sociedad to say yes to the payment terms. And Sociedad turned around and said no. He's going to go on a release clause. We want the full value. And if we add all the tax up, this was going to be near 80 million, by the way. And do you think Zubimendi's worth 80 million? Because that's what it was teetering to. It was looking at 80 million. So that's all I'm saying. Like, let Hughes redeem himself, and let's see what he does with his second bid. If something doesn't go, look, if Hughes messes up every single transfer bid for the next like 4 or 5 transfer bids, then we can start saying, well, yeah, this guy's a bit of a, you know, but to just throw him under the bus after this one thing is a bit ridiculous. Like it's not like he went to another club. Like it's not like he moved to Arsenal. It's not like we bidded and lost the bid and he went to Arsenal. Or it's not like Caicedo where we didn't even speak to the player, had the bid accepted, and then Caicedo was like, well, I'm going to Chelsea because Liverpool haven't even spoke to me. So it's not like that happened. Like we've been talking to the guy for over 2 weeks. Like so he's been busy doing stuff with him. So let's just see what happens with the second one. Let's see if he gets a left back, see if he gets a centre back, see if he gets a right winger, see if he gets another midfielder. Because guess what? Slot said he wants players. Slot said he's getting players. And also Virgil van Dijk's also said it. So we've got a number of people at the club that have said that we need signings. So let's see. And that's another situation. Beer rejected Liverpool because he wants to stay in Germany. Like we also have to understand that Liverpool as a city is not a great pull. Like getting people to come to Merseyside is not an easy pull. It's not an easy pull. It really isn't. So it needs to be the right person. Germans aren't easy to get over out of Germany. Neither are Spanish. It's a fact. Spaniards and Germans are not easy people to move out of their countries. They're just not. So many Germans don't move. So many Spanish people don't move. The reason why we end up signing a lot of foreigners out of Portugal and Holland and places like that is because they're not locals. They're not locals. Like Nunes, Diaz, Varela's, they're not locals. They're also foreigners in those countries. So there's more of a chance. And you're absolutely right, Scottish. Everybody wants to go to London. I know they don't live in Liverpool, but have you been to Manchester? Manchester's pretty grim as well. Like Manchester's pretty grim, and there's not a Riviera, mate. There's no Riviera there. Like the weather's better in Germany during the summer seasons. It just is. Like I lived there for 9 years. I know. Okay. So let's have a look at the full squad. Okay. So we've got Allison, we've got Keller, and we've got Yaros. Okay. Keller is still available to be sold, but we have Yaros, who's a really good backup goalkeeper. And we're also on the verge of signing Mamadashvili, but he'll be going out on loan. Okay. So that's done. Okay. So goalkeeper department is sewing up. Okay. We don't really need to cover. Yeah. Formby's pretty grim as well, mate, if you've been there. Formby is pretty grim. Like Southport is horrendous. Like you've just seen what happened in Southport. Like Southport's now like a pretty bad place to go to now after that horrible thing that happened, which I'm not going to talk about. But prayers go out to everyone that was affected by that. But Southport's grim as well, mate. Blackpool's grim. It's grim up north. It really is. Cheshire's quite nice. I get it. Cheshire's quite nice. Wales is quite nice down there. But yeah, what have you wrote? It's pretty grim, mate, if I'm honest, up there. It is. Okay, we're not going to go into old stories in this one. Maybe we'll do this on another show. Um, okay, so okay, so so let's look at the defence. Okay, right. So there's a couple of players in defence which are probably going to leave. Yeah. So we're pretty sure that Nat Phillips and Sepp van der Berg will probably leave. Are we all down with that? Yeah. How do we feel about that? Nat Phillips and Sepp van der Berg will probably leave Liverpool. Yeah. So that leaves us with Kostas Tsimikas as our first choice left back, because I feel like he probably will be first choice left back. Then we've got Trent as our first choice right back. Then we've got Virgil van Dijk on the left, and then we've got Gerald Quansah on the right. Yeah. So that's our four. And then we have Andy Robinson as backup. Yeah. And then we have Connor Bradley as backup. So that's our left backs and right backs covered. Yeah. And we all agree with that. We've got 2 and 2 for those positions. Yeah. So we've got 3 goalkeepers and we've got 2 and 2 for left backs and right backs. So that's us done. Yeah. Obviously, I would like a left footed centre back to cover for Virgil and potentially as a left back as well. That would be ideal. But that would make it 3. Okay. So that would make it 3 in that position. So I can understand why maybe they're not looking at that, but I can understand maybe why they might look at that because Robinson's not getting any younger. He's also getting injuries, and Kostas Tsimikas hasn't really played that much football at Liverpool, and maybe just wasn't a Klopp favourite. But now Slot might really like him because he's looked okay. I mean, the last game he looked unbelievable, and he's only 28, so he's still in his prime. So maybe that's played into his mind. So we need to look at that. Okay. Last season, Joe Gomez was our best left back. Slot isn't going to look at Joe Gomez as a left back by the looks of it. It looks like he's going to look at him as a centre back. So that means that Virgil van Dijk has now got a left-sided cover, which is Joe Gomez, who's an England international and had a brilliant season. So I think we're covered in that area. If I'm honest, if Slot turns around and says, I don't need anyone, then I'm fine with that. Okay. And then on the opposite side, to be covered for Quansah, you've got Ibrahima Konate, who's a French international who went to the Euros and is a brilliant player, but maybe doesn't suit slot football as much as some of the others do. But he's still a brilliant player. And if he's not going to be the main centre back, then maybe he won't have injury issues because he won't be playing a huge amount of football. So, do we all agree that we have left back cover we have right back cover, and we have centre back cover. So we have 2 in 2 for every position in goalkeeping and in defence. Do we all agree with that? And if we keep Seth van der Berg, then we have a fifth choice centre back. So we're covered, completely covered. And Seth van der Berg's looked absolutely brilliant in pre-season. He had a really good season last season. To be honest, he's probably on the verge of the Dutch team. Like, I don't think he's a million miles away from getting a call up. If he played for us next season, or he got a move to a club, I could see him probably breaking into the Dutch international team. Okay, so that's 2 left backs, 2 right backs, 4 centre backs with a potential 5. And if you also want to look at Joe Gomez as a potential left back and right back, then you've also got 3. Okay, so you're completely covered. Okay, so I'm looking at this list and I'm seeing all the goalkeepers covered and all of the defenders, and that's if Slot's happy with them. So if Slot doesn't want any more, then he has enough. Okay, and if he says he has enough, then he has enough, and he feels like he has. Okay, right. Some other players that we do have to back up these guys, which I don't think will go on loan, is we have Stevenson, who played really well as a right back, by the way, in the pre-season. He just did, Lucas Stevenson. And we also have Scanlon, who also looked really good as a left back. So you also have those guys. So not only do you have your first team cover and your second team, you also have backup beyond them, which I think is capable of playing games, like cup games against minimal teams. Or if we have a raft of injuries, then there's a chance for them to play. So Stevenson on the right, and then you've got Scanlon on the left. Okay, Owen Beck's going to go out on loan, or he's going to be sold. Owen Beck's only got 12 months left. Okay, so that's the goalkeepers, and that's the defence. Yeah, if we don't sign a goalkeeper and we don't sign a defender, that's down on Slot, and Slot's happy with what he's got. And I've just showed you what he's got. Okay, good. Midfielders, and this is the thing which kind of breaks everyone's heart or breaks the internet. Okay, let's look at the players that we're probably going to sell, yeah, or loan. James McConnell, Bobby Clark, and Wataru Endo. Okay, I don't think Wataru Endo will go. And the reason why I don't think he'll go is I believe that we will probably just keep him as a squad player. And if you watch the last game he played, it looks like he's starting to get up to speed. And if you also watch Wataru Endo when we got him in the first place, it took him 4 or 5 games for him to really get a grip of how the manager wants him to play. So it takes a bit of time for him to pick up speed. So I feel like that could be the same with him, with the new tactics and the new way the manager wants to play. So I think he'll stay. And really, is it worth getting 15 million for someone who is a decent backup and can play in a number of positions? Like, I think it's probably worth him just staying, and he's happy to be a squad player at the age of 31. So I think Endo will stay. Obviously, Dom, McAllister, Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, Ryan Gravenberch, and Stefan Bajcetic will all stay. Okay, so let's just break this down into positional sense. Okay, there's also one other player which we're not talking about, Trey Nione. I think you can add him to that list now as a player that will probably be in and around the first team. Okay, so let's just break this down into a midfield setup. Left-sided midfield, I think, is McAllister. And I think his backup will be Curtis Jones. McAllister, Curtis Jones, and potentially Ryan Gravenberch. Okay. And Stefan Bacetić. So let's just break this down into a better way. Okay. I messed that one up. Let's just talk about the three players. Yeah. And then we'll talk about who then backs them up. Okay. Left hand side, Alexis McAllister. Right hand side, Ryan Gravenberch. And further forward in the 10, then you've got Dominic Szoboszlai. Okay. That's your three midfielders that you will play for most of the season. Obviously, if we'd have got Zubimendi would have played where McAllister was, or even on the opposite side, by the way. Because if you look at the way Zubimendi played, by the way, and I just want to get this clear, Zubimendi didn't play on the left. Okay, Zubimendi was a right-sided player. So Zubimendi would actually play on the right, which McAllister would still play as the left-sided deeper player. That's just a fact. So we weren't going to play lopsided because we naturally play with the left-sided player deeper because of because of Virgil. Virgil doesn't like to cover so much ground, so he needs a guy closer to him. That's just a fact. That's the way Virgil plays. Virgil very rarely comes up to the halfway line a lot. And if you look at the heat map in the last couple of games with Virgil, or the last game with Virgil, his heat map, he's in his half. He's not on the halfway line all the time. That's where Quansah is. So the interesting thing about that is that's where Zub would have played. So McAllister probably still would have played on the left. Okay. Anyway, he's not coming. That's done. You've got McAllister on the left, Gravenberch on the right, and Szoboszlai higher up. Yeah, so that's your three starting midfielders. And I think that's the three starting midfielders for the game against Ipswich away. And probably the next 5 games, if I'm honest. Okay, so now we're going to look at players that are going to cover them. Naturally, Szoboszlai's cover is going to be Harvey Elliott. That's just a fact. Harvey Elliott's had a really good pre-season. I think he plays really well in the 10. He's your cover. So that's 1 in 1, okay? On the right-hand side, you've got Gravenberch. His natural cover will be Curtis Jones. That kind of makes sense. So he'd be his natural cover. So Curtis Jones would go there. McAllister's natural cover would be Wataru Endo. So that's basically all of the team covered in midfield with other midfielders. Yeah. There are still 2 midfielders that we haven't talked about who can also cover positions. One of them is Stefan Bacetić, who's probably not going to go out on loan now. So he would be the cover for Endo if Endo didn't play. Yeah. And then you've got Trey Ione. Trey Ione could be the cover for Curtis Jones if he didn't play. You've now got 6, 7, 8 players. You've now got 8 midfielders to cover that entire position. You've got 8 players to fit in 3 positions. Okay? Signing Zubimendi would have made it 9. Signing Zubimendi would have just simply moved Stefan Bacetić out on loan. We've got ample cover in midfield. We really have. And from what I've seen so far, I think we look great in midfield. I understand strengthening the team. I totally get that. Right now, I see Liverpool as 3rd place and above, maybe 2nd, 3rd or 2nd in the league, and potentially a cup final with this team that we've currently got. I see that as potentially where we'll finish. If we sign a Varela and a Hincapié, and potentially a Kudus or a Rodrigo. I then see us moving into Champions League final winners and pushing Manchester City for a title. That's where I see us. But those players are 250 million, and you're also moving a big player out. So you're looking at, where does Salah go? Does Salah move? Or where does a Diaz go? Does Diaz move? Because one of these guys needs to be sold to put one of these guys in the position. And then you've got, well, Andy Robinson probably will need to be moved on, or Kostas Tsimikas will need to be moved on. And then you've got your likes of Hincapié comes in. So, and maybe Canate gets moved on to move a big defender like a Bastoni or someone in. So you're going to have to move someone on. You're probably not going to add this player and keep what you've got, because a first team player will need to be moved on. So that's the conversation that needs to be had as well. Like, it's not a simple case of, oh, we're just going to sign Kudus and then he's just going to play on the bench. He's going to be on the bench. Like, we can just bring him on whenever. No, you have to sell. You have to sell the game. You have to sell the project as, you're coming to Liverpool to be a first team player. Otherwise, they're like, well, I'm a first team player where I am now. Like, do I really want to risk it as being a backup player for somebody else? So that's a huge sell. So the guy that comes in needs to start if you're going to move the needle. And moving the needle is going into second place, into first place, and to get into Champions League finals and winning them. And we need a massive signing to do that. And we need three, I think. I don't think one does it. I don't think two does it, but I think three does. So that's how I feel. But everybody's got different opinions, and I understand all of your opinions. I really do. And I know we want players, but if we're buying big players have to leave. And if we're not prepared to do that, then what's the point in doing it? And that's what Slot has to decide. And you have to give him a bit of time. Like, so far, he's got a 10 out of 10 for me. Like, we played 5 pre-season games and we've won all 5. The ones behind closed doors, we lost and we drew. Who gives a fuck? It's behind closed doors. Who gives a shit? I really don't give a shit. Like, fans make a difference. Liverpool in front of fans are fucking dangerous, and we know it. Like, we step up to the plate. Like, against Seville, we battered them. Manchester United battered them. Arsenal battered them. Like, these are big teams. The friendlies we had were not friendlies, and the games we played were strategic games. So Slot knew exactly what he's going to come up against in the Premier League, and he's going to come up against low block, high possession, and rivalry. And he got every single one of them. And we also threw a Seville in the mix, who have also beaten us over and over again because they're a really hard cup winning team. And we conquered every single one with the reserves and with the first team. We have to be pleased about that. We have to be pleased about that. And because we didn't get one player, doesn't mean we throw everything else out, because we have to be happy about that. And I'm very, very happy about it. Okay, so let's look at the strikers. And I don't think there's an issue with the strikers, by the way. Okay. So, Luis Diaz, left-hand side, he's going to be a starter. It looks pretty obvious he's going to be a starter. Okay. Down the middle, it looks like it's going to be Jota, which I'm very happy about, by the way. Diogo Jota down the middle gives us an incredible dimension. His knockdowns, his assists, the way he's involved in play, it's leaps and bounds ahead of Darwin Núñez, which he needs to work on. Whether he ever gets that is debatable. It's an interesting one. Diaz isn't going to Barcelona, by the way. I wish people stop talking about that. Like Deco wants him, and the manager doesn't. Like simple as that. Okay. If Diaz goes to Barcelona, then we'll be signing someone to replace him. We just will. Like, and he's going to cost them 70 million plus because we're not going to reduce. We are not selling players cheap. We are not selling players cheap. And you're absolutely right. Register. They can't even register Olmo at the moment because they need to get rid of players. So if they want him, then we can just go and get, I don't know, we'll just ask for Pedri. We'll just ask for Pedri, or we'll ask for who's that left back who's unbelievable, or who's that right back that's unbelievable. There's a number of players which Barcelona have got that we can just go and ask for. Then we'll go and ask for Gavi. Yeah. Anyway, Luis Diaz on the left, down the middle, Jota, on the right, Salah. Okay, that's your three forwards. Okay, whether you play them deeper, whether you play them as tens, whether you play them as inverted, or whether you play them as main wingers, is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. They are your three that he's going to use. And so far, I really like the look of it. Salah looks unbelievable. Salah looks like he's really refreshed because he's had a holiday and he's had a good break. He looks ready to go again. Luis Diaz hit the ground running, had a really good Copa America. Just kind of came back into this like he's ready to go again. I think he'll get played differently this season, which will help him. I hope he gets a relationship with Tsimikas, which will be good. Diogo Jota looks like he's just come from the Euros and he's just ready to go again. Like Jota just needs to stay injury free, and Jota can stay injury free if we don't get Jota to be involved in all the battles. He needs to stay away from all of the tackles. He doesn't need to get involved in duels. He just needs to win the ball high up, like control it, play players in. He doesn't need to go into these tackles. I want him to stay out of this. We will manage him better. I feel that will happen. And then we're looking at backup players. Okay. Backup on the left, you've got Cody Gakpo, which I think is a brilliant option to have. Down middle, you've got Darwin Núñez. And on the right hand side, you don't have cover. And I understand that. There's no cover on the right hand side. However, I do feel that if we don't sign anyone, we could play Connor Bradley there, or we could play a Diaz over there and then bring Gakpo in, because Diaz can play on the right hand side and he has done. I do feel there's flexibility there. If you wanted to, maybe you could play Dominic Szoboszlai out there more and then bring Elliott in. There's a lot of flexibility there, but I feel like we've got plenty of cover across the front three. So we play three up top and we have 5 players there. Okay. That's more than any other teams in the Premier League. No other teams have got 5 first team players that can play up front. And if you look at last season, every single player scored more than 10 goals. That's massive. No other team did that. No other team had 5 strikers to score more than 10 goals in all 5 leagues. And that's your Barcelonas, that's your Real Madrids, that's your PSGs, that's your Bayern Munichs, that's your Man Cities and your Arsenals. None of them had them. None of them. So that's a positive, and I think we're good. Okay. Now I'm going to show you the team on the pitch. Okay. I'm always going to spell this name wrong, aren't I? How do you spell Costa Simicas? TSIM. Okay, so can you see my screen okay? Yeah, you can. Good. Okay, there's 80 of you in here now. Big up everyone that's in. If you can please like and subscribe, that would be amazing. If we can get the likes to over 100, that would be incredible. Or over 50 would be great, actually. Let's try for 50. It really helps with the algorithm. I can see loads of stuff about live stuff about Man City have reached an agreement with Luis Diaz. Are you kidding me? Is that real? Are we going to sell? Are we going to sell Luis Diaz to Man City? I'll tell you what, though, if we sell Luis Diaz to Man City, then let's just go and get Kudos. Like, sorted. Sorted. It's fake. Okay. Okay, big up scraps. It's fake. Okay, so that's the left-hand side done. So this is the left-hand side of defence, which I'm happy with, by the way. Like Joe Gomez has been brilliant, no issues whatsoever. Gerald Quance has been incredible in pre-season. Canate is a brilliant player to have as your backup, or even first team. Trent being played as a natural right back is really good. Also, Connor Bradley's been sensational in pre-season. So let's just have a look at. Oh, hang on. Let me just do the goalkeeper. Sorry. Becker. And then we got. I'm actually going to put. I'm actually going to put Jaros on there, by the way. And the reason why I say that is because I do feel that Queven Keller will be sold. I do feel that Queven will be sold. It's interesting with the Gapco and Carvalho one, but I do feel. I mean, I've given Diaz so much stick like last year, but I do feel that he would suit a slot system much better than a Klopp system. I don't know. I haven't looked at the news over the last 50 minutes because I've been doing this. I'm sorry. But let me finish this and then afterwards I'll have a quick scoot over the news and see what jokes are in there. But from what I can see, I think Keller will be sold. Like Keller, look, I think he's a great goalkeeper, but to keep a guy over the age of 25 who's now going into his prime at a club where he's going to play barely 10 games if the other goalkeeper doesn't get injured, I don't think it's fair. And I feel like we could get 35 million for him, 30 million. And I feel like the Keller money is going to buy Mamadashvili, who's going to replace Allison next year. It just makes perfect sense. And then Jaros can play 10, 15 games, and then he'll end up being sold for 20 million in another year's time. It's just a great way of being able to recoup more money. Remember, we're a self-sustaining club. So that's kind of how I feel. Maybe you feel differently, but I don't think keeping a player beyond beyond his prime, like while he's in his prime as just backup is good for him. Like I want Keller to go and have a career. He deserves to be playing in a Premier League team now. And there's other clubs that are buying goalkeepers now that aren't as good as him when they could have had him, which isn't fair. Like 25 million, it's a great bit of business. I think he cost us about 800,000 or something. He was really cheap. Anyway, midfield. And then you've got backup Endo. Actually, so this is going to be Szoboszlai, but the only thing is, I can't do the midfield actually how it is, how it actually looks, just because of the way this thing is. So I'm going to put Elliot in there. And then you've got, and this could be the other way around, by the way. Like it could be Jones, it could be Jones first and then Gravenberch. But I feel like Gravenberch has probably done more in pre-season, and I also feel like because he's Dutch, he might have a better chance. I'm just going to go through the whole team. Jota, it's not a bad team, is it, lads? Is it? It's really not a bad team, is it? Now that you look at it on paper, it's really not a bad team. Okay, so this is the Liverpool team for me next season, and there's still other players which can also be included as backup to backup. So on paper, that looks like a brilliant team. It really does. You've got Allison, you've got Jaros, you've got Keller, yeah. You've got Kostas Tsimikas, you've got Andy Robinson. The left-hand side is an issue for me. Like I think we can improve the left-hand side. I really do. Kostas Tsimikas, Andy Robinson. I mean, Andy Robinson's been a sensational player for years and years, but just feel like it's waning now. But he's still got talent. He's still got quality. Kostas Tsimikas, Andy Robinson, and then Scanlon. So that's 3. Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez, fine there. Gerald Quansah, Ibrahim Konate, fine there. And then you've got Seth van der Berg if he doesn't go, which means he can float there. You've also got Nallo, who can also play centre back, who's looked really good in pre-season, by the way. He's 17 years old. Amo Nallo, that's another guy there that no one's talking about. He could come in. He could do a job. Then you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold, you've got Connor Bradley, and then you've also got Lucas Stevenson. Okay. Midfield, left-hand side, Alexis McAllister, Wataru Endu, Stefan Bacesic. Done. You've even got Tyler Morton, by the way. Tyler Morton hasn't gone anywhere, by the way. He might stay. There's an option there. Looks really good. England under 21. RB Leipzig looking at him. Number of clubs have been looking at him. He could play there, but I think he wants first team football, rightly so. Then you've got Dominic Szoboszlai, Harvey Elliott. We're good in the 10. And then you've got Gravenberch, Curtis Jones, and then Trey Nione, who's another really good kid, 17 years old, played a bit of first team football now, looks great. So you got him there as well. Then you got Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, fine. Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez, and Jayden Danns, by the way, because Jayden Danns hasn't gone anywhere, so he's still there. Then you've got Mo Salah, and you don't have a replacement for Mo Salah because I think Ben Doak's going on loan or he's being sold, which is fine. Ben Doak's 20 in December and he's done 0 in his career. So let's be a bit realistic here. If we can get 15 million for him, I think it's a good bit of business, or we just send him on loan, let him get some game time. Kate Gordon's gone now. There's no backup on the right hand side, which is why I've cried out for Kudus, which is why I've cried out for Rodrigo. It's why a lot of people, there's someone in the chat who keeps on talking about Brian and Buemu. I get that. I totally get that. If Salah doesn't play, then you probably likely switch Diaz over there and then probably play Hody Gapco more, or maybe even flip Dom onto that side, or you could even play Connor Bradley there. Connor Bradley looks like a good right-sided winger as well, by the way. There's options. There are options there. Okay. Just wanted to let you know that's what I see as the team. That's what we should be looking at. That's what we should be excited about. We can't think about shiny toys if we're not getting shiny toys. Nobody gets shiny toys. Okay, we're not Chelsea. We're not these teams that go and spend mega bucks on players that never play. We sign players strategically to come into the team and do a job. It's what we've always done. It's what we've always done. Why do you think it's going to change? It was the same with Edwards back in 2009, in 2019. It was the same then. It's going to be the same now. Zubamendi was going to come in and he was going to play on the right hand side. So Gravenberch was probably going to be the cover for McAllister, and Jones was probably going to be the cover for Zubamendi. That's just the facts. And then Wataru Endo was going to get sold. That's what was going to happen. Like, we have to look at it like this. Have to look at it like this. Like, if we get a guy, one's going. So if we get a Varela, or we go and spend 100 million on Wharton, Adam Wharton, who's played 16 games in the Premier League, yeah, we go and spend billions on these guys. It means a big guy's going. It means an Endo's going, or a Curtis Jones is getting knocked down the pecking order even more, which means Curtis Jones plays less, which means Gravenberch might not get a chance. Gravenberch might not get a chance to shine. Like, he might not get a big opportunity to play for us. So you might not be able to see what could have been. You might not be able to see what could have been with Curtis Jones in a slot system. You might not ever get to see what Trey Ione can do if we go and sign all these midfielders that you want. So you might miss out on these guys. You know, Tyler Morton might not get sold now. He might go on to be another Adam Wharton. Like, we don't know, because these guys won't be given a chance. And you have to look at what we've achieved with the ones that we're given a chance. Gerald Quansah, Connor Bradley. These guys were given a chance, and look what they've achieved. How can we sit here and go, oh, you know what? Morton's never going to be anything. Morton could be an absolute world beater. We just don't know. We just haven't given him a chance. Trey Ione could be unbelievable. Gravenberch could have an incredible season. Curtis Jones could just, the light could just come on. That light bulb moment could come on with Curtis Jones, and he realizes his full potential, and he just clicks into gear, and we see exactly what we've been crying out for. We just don't know. So that's why I'm optimistic, and that's why I'm not that bothered now. Like, sign someone, don't sign someone. I'm not that bothered. The left back position is the priority for me. It always has been. It always will be. I feel like we need someone there. Owen Beck hasn't been given a chance. I felt like Owen Beck could be that guy. He's clearly not in the reckoning. Maybe he's just not being good enough. But it is what it is. But we need to just calm down because we've got a very good team. If you want to compare us to other teams, crack on. Crack on. Like, Man City just sold Alvarez. Alvarez was their second top goal scorer. Alvarez, for me, would have been amazing on the left-hand side or even straight up front. Like, massive, massive fan of Alvarez. They just sold him. They just got rid of him. You know, Man City are selling players. Arsenal are having another rejig. Who knows what happens with them? They've got players they need to bed in now. They've improved, but they still haven't got that striker. Still haven't got the goals. Arsenal still haven't got those goals that they need, and they still haven't got a good enough goalkeeper for me. You know, Manchester United, whatever. They just went and spunked another 50, 60 million on players that can't even get in the Bayern Munich team. They've gone and bought a guy that they replaced him with Eric Dyer. Jesus Christ. Like, they've now got Manchester United ex-players coming out saying, why are you signing this guy? Like, he's a dud. They can crack on. Aston Villa have had a massive change around. Loads of players in, loads of players out. You don't know how that's going to fit. You really don't know how that one's going to fit. Tottenham, same again. Loads of players in, loads of players out. That's going to be another transition for them. Then you've got the likes of Chelsea are just all over the place, massive transition. Newcastle, I don't think Newcastle are going to be there really either. They still need a really, really good forward as well. They need more reinforcements. You know, Liverpool have got a solid team that have played together for a long time now. And the players that we bought last season have now got another year under their belts. They're now used to the Premier League. You know, Dominic Szoboszlai is going to kick on. McAllister just going to get better. You know, I just feel like, you know, Gravenberch is probably going to have a good season now. He's got a year under his belt. I just feel that we should be more optimistic and we should be more behind the manager. Like, we shouldn't be throwing our director of football under the bus already because he didn't get one player because he turned us down. Like, it's still 3 weeks left. I'd like a left back. I'd love a midfielder and I'd love a right winger. I'd like all of those. If we don't get any, I still think we'll finish third and above, and I still think we'll probably get to a cup final. And for me, I think that's a brilliant season for Slot in his first year. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I'm just trying to make it real. I think the meltdown's unwarranted, especially when you've seen the football that we're playing. If we're playing shit and we don't sign anyone, then I get the meltdown, but we're playing really good football. And another priority as well, and I think this is more of a priority than anything else, is we need to get Trent signed down to a new contract. So let's give it a couple of weeks and let's see if we get that one over the line, because I think that's more of an issue than anything else, because the previous regime was sleepwalking and let 3 players run their contracts down. I agree with you, Eds. Zubimendi wouldn't have won us the league, mate. He wouldn't have won us the league. 3 players wins us the league. 3 players. But they're 3 players that replace the first team. They need to replace the first team players. So the midfielder goes in and replaces another midfielder. And a left back goes in and replaces the current left back. And the right back, or the centre forward or the left winger replaces either or. So they come in and they replace someone in the first team. So they get moved on, or they become backup and the person behind him gets moved on. So there's a lot of shift and change that will get us over the line, but players need to be moved out of the team. And that's the problem. Does Slot want to do that? in his first season. Does he want to turn around and say to Diaz, "You're gone, mate"? Like, or does he want to turn around and say to Robinson, "You're gone, mate"? Like, is he ready to do that straight away? I don't know. Like, it takes a lot for a guy to come in who nobody's really heard of to come in and just go, "I'm ripping up stuff here. I'm binning players." Like Wataru Endo being sold, so what? Like, no one's really that bothered. I mean, if he turns around and sells Canate, that's gonna raise a few eyebrows. That's gonna raise a few eyebrows. Or he turns around and sells Curtis Jones, or he turns around and gets rid of Diogo Jota or Luis Diaz. Like, that's gonna make people go, "Whoa, hang on a minute, what's going on here? Like, why are we selling these players?" Like, we're selling these players to replace them with world-class players, and maybe he's not ready to do that yet. Maybe Hughes has said to him, "You know what? We can go and get bloody bloody blah if you want," and he's gone, I don't really want to upset the apple cart yet. I don't really want to be getting rid of some of the big lads. Like, let's give them a year. Like, let's give them 6 months. And if they're really not cutting it, then yeah, I can shift them on. But there's being ruthless and there's being stupid. And it's borderline stupid if you're going to piss off big boys. Because somebody did it at Chelsea and someone got stabbed in the back. And someone did it at Real Madrid and someone got stabbed in the back. And player power and dressing room power can end up getting someone sacked and kicked out of their job. So he's got to play that fine line. And left back, yes, for me. Right winger support, yes, for me. And the midfielder, yes, for me. So let's see what we do. And Virgil van Dijk can say all he wants about signings, mate. But he's not running the club. He's not running the club. Signings means players have to go. So we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to show you the squad and I wanted to show you what we're working with. And it's not as bad as we're all thinking. And if we get one or two, everyone will probably be happier, which will be great. And then I can do a show where I'm not trying to like show people some realistic stuff. But from what I've seen on the pitch, I think we're brilliant. I think we look great. I'm really happy with everything. Signing one or two, amazing. They need to be big players to push us any further. Zubimendi wasn't going to push us onto the league. He just wasn't. Adam Wharton isn't going to win us the league. And if you think he is, then you're bonkers. But a Rodrigo, a Kudus, a Hincapié, an Edison, a Varela. Now you're talking first place. Now you're talking the needle moving. Bastone, now you're talking. We're talking the higher echelon. So we need more than one. But anyway, much love, everyone. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe, please do. And I will catch you again soon, hopefully with better news. And big up, everyone. Also, big up, Ends. Ooh. And I will see you on the flip side. Up the Reds. Support the team and the manager. I'm out of here.